Hi everyone, I'm Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance, and today we're going to be making clue number 5 for the Cotton Cuts Puzzle Mystery Quilt. This is the theme of Carnival, and I'm using the funnel cake fabric. We're making this small quilt. After we make these blocks, we have 3 blocks to make, we will be halfway through this puzzle mystery. Now some of you have asked why I'm not showing the entire thing at once and putting it together. The reason is because I don't know what the ending is going to look like. I won't know until April, I think it is, for month 10 when they give us all of the construction information. As before, I am keeping up with doing my scrappy versions. This is the 1 block we're going to make, and then we make 2 of this block. Here, I have 2 of them here. I'm loving how the scrappy version's coming out too, and I'm actually really enjoying this part too. I wasn't sure about the colorway, but I'm really loving it. I also got this patch, I think everybody did for this month. It's, I think, an iron-on patch. It's really cute too. All right, so all of my pieces are inventoried and they're laid out here. As you can see, we're gonna start by putting together our half square triangles, and there are a lot of them. There are 20 half square triangles to make, meaning that there are 40 triangles to put together. On the screen here, you'll see a list of all of the half square triangles that we have to make. I also decided to do something a little different to help us along. The letter that is in red is the side that you press to. So for the AB unit, for example, you're going to press towards the A. I'm gonna get started putting these all together and getting ready to go to the sewing machine. When I do, I'm going to sew with a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'll meet you back here with all of the half square triangles made when we'll start assembling. All right, so we have all of the half square triangles sewn, so we're ready to start building our blocks. Now, something I did differently than I did last time was I labeled them like before, but I also color coded the labels, and that just helped a lot more. So I just add more and more components that makes my life easier, and these are just tips that you could use with any type of sewing project. Labeling and setting up the trays, it just helps so much. So for the first step, it has us making 2 units at a time. So we need the 2 DE units and 2 EB units. So since we have more than 2, I'm just gonna reclip these so we don't get mixed up and put them back on our tray. All right, now we wanna pay attention to the configuration of these. That's very important for these blocks. So easy to get mixed up. This one goes like this, and this one goes like this. So you get kind of a line or a diagonal here. So I'm gonna set them up here on my design board. And then I'm also gonna go to step 2, where it's a BE unit, which is configured like this. And again, we're doing 2 of them. And then we need our F piece, 2 of these, just like that. And we're gonna sew this to this on both of these, and this to this on both of these too. So I'll meet you back here. All right, these are sewn. Now we're gonna set our seams, which I do with everything. I just put my iron directly on top of the sewed unit, and then I'm gonna look at my chart to see which way we need to press them. That's really important too. So let's see, this one's, oops, these 2 are the same. No, these 2. Sorry about that. Yes, these 2. And we are pressing to the B unit like this. So I'm gonna finger press. That's gonna help remind me that I need to do it that way. And it's also going to just get things ready to press. All right, and then these, we are pressing, I believe, oh, nope, to the B unit here. And I'm just gonna finger press those. It's not a lot of contrast, which I kind of complained about before. I don't love that. Unfortunately, there's a few of them. Where's the one? This one, I mean, the AD unit, look at that. There's like hardly any contrast in this at all. That bugs me, but okay, we're gonna trust the process. So I'm gonna press this. So notice I'm not like pushing back and forth. I'm kind of just sliding it to press. So this completes step 1 of 5A and the beginning of step 2 of 5A. So we're gonna set these aside. I'm gonna lay them out like that. Our next one, we're going to take the AB unit and we're gonna pay attention to the way it is pressed. So for this AB unit, it's the one that's pressed towards the A. Okay, we're gonna take 2 of these like that. Clip these on Keep them together. And then we need an F, 2 of these. Just like that. And we're gonna sew these together, right sides together. I'll be right back. Okay, these are sewn. I'm going to set them, the seams, and they get pressed, let me see, to the B. So we're gonna press it to the B. There we go. All right, now it's time to start building this first unit of the first unit. If you're following along, we just finished up the first part of section 5A. We're going to sew these all together, have that section done, and then move on to the next section. So to lay this out, this goes like this goes like this, and this goes like this. All right, so I'm going to put these lined up so I can sew the 2 at a time. All right, so now we're going to lay this out, and I have it all laid the way it's supposed to be. We're going to sew these together. They will nest together because of the way we press, because we follow the pressing directions. So I'll sew these and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I have these units done and I squared them up. They're ready to go. I'm going to set these aside, and I already laid out our next unit. Now there are 2 in the piles here. Okay, so we're making 2 at a time, 2 units at a time. Very, very muddy. It's so hard to tell the difference, so pay attention. So for this one, we have D, D, A, just double check here, B, A, D, F, B, A. That's the way it's laid out. We're gonna sew these together just like we did before, put them into rows, and then put them together to make a unit. After that, we take this unit, which we already sewn together, and we're going to put it on like that, and I'll show you that. This is the second unit to the first unit. I know, it's a lot of units that I'm talking about. I'm gonna turn this around so we can see. And we're going to take that first one and line it up just like that. If you press the way the directions said, these will nest nicely and we'll have a full unit like this. And you wanna lay this out so you have the 3 squares going this way and the triangles all facing in, and sew them together. Again, very muddy, hard to tell the difference. Hope it all turns out. So I am going to sew these together and I'll meet you back here. I'm just doing right sides together and just like that. All right, these 2 are finished, yay! And I will square those up before we put them away. I'm liking it, it's pretty. I love, love, love this fabric with the flowers, very pretty fabric. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next block. Now, I was gonna do it in segments just like I did before, but when I really started looking at it and laying it out, it's just easier to lay the whole thing out and sew it, in my opinion. Okay, here is the block, the next block that we're gonna make. We're only making 1 of them. So I'm gonna just double check that I have everything in order. This is, let's see, in section 5B, it's the unit that is under 1.3. And it's B, B, E, C, B, B. Just double checking it. So this row is 2.2 in our instructions under 5B, and it goes E, A, E. Okay, so you want it laying like this. The next one is 3.2, and it's F, E, D, E, F. That's the configuration on that one. The next one is just squares, so we don't have any half square triangles. And this is D, E, D. And this part is in step 4. I hope this isn't too confusing. If you're following along, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna sew these rows together, and then I'm gonna sew the rows to each other to make the final unit. Now, one thing that is a little confusing, at least in my opinion, is this 3rd row down. So 1, 2, 3, 3rd row, it has us pressing out, but the 4th row also has us pressing out. I kind of think that might be a mistake, but I'm not positive. So what I'll do is put a note in with this unit to say, hey, I might have pressed this bottom one wrong. I'd rather have these nesting so they will all fit together than have bulky seams. I'll deal with that later when we put it together if it's super duper important that they go that direction. For now, this is the way I'm going to do it because this is what makes sense in my brain, and that's the way I work on a lot of things. So I'm going to sew these rows together and then sew the rows to each other to make the unit. I'm also going to pay attention to how they have me press, with the exception of that bottom row. I'll meet you back here with the final reveal of these blocks, and I'll also show you all of the progress we've made so far. Okay, they are finished. These are a little tricky, just making sure that you have everything laid out correctly. It can be tough. All right, so here are the last few months for the scrappy version. Here's months 1, 2, and 3, and here is months 4 and 5. And here are the funnel cake versions of months 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. So they are coming together nicely. My t-shirt, by the way, I'm sure people will ask. I will put a link to it. It says, "Sorry, can't quilting buy" on it. I got this from a shop called Stella Vita, and I will put a link below in the description. I also will have a link to this shop in my newsletter on my website, so make sure you're subscribed to my website. I send out a free download monthly with my newsletter that you can access on my website. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.